beautiful snippet from Isabella Maxi's new music video, I Want to Be an SRA. And in the studio now, we have Miss Isabella Maxi. So Isabella, your music video talks a lot about residential curriculum. What does that have to do with being an SRA? Like, are you a professor or something?
Well, actually, you can kind of say that I am. Because the residential curriculum is residence life's way of teaching and preparing students for the learning that takes place outside of the classroom life. And it's intentionally meant to address the needs of the student body based on specific characteristics. Like, I'm talking about age group, experiences, the amount of time spent here at Stevenson. And it's based off of the 4 core values that Stevenson has: learning, integrity, community, and excellence. It's implemented throughout their time spent here living at Stevenson so that it can be carried on even after that, post-graduation. Which is why it's so important that each member of residence life plays a role in implementing it.
But how does an SRA play that role?
So the SRA is in charge of implementing the lessons assigned by RDs to their staffs as well as their floors. It goes down in a sort of chain of command. So it's a long game of telephone, and it's the SRA's job to make sure that it doesn't get lost in translation. The way I see it, if the student body was an actual body, the SRA is the brain. And I say the brain and not the heart because the RDs and everyone above are the heart. The brain can't do anything without the heart pumping blood, the same way that an SRA has to get the RD say-so. So the brain is a place where ideas are generated and are put in motion. If an SRA answers a question or gives suggestions for community builders that follow the curriculum to RAs, it's like the brain sending a neuron down to the arm to wave hello. If you have a headache, it affects the way the rest of your body behaves, and you don't perform as well as you usually do. A good SRA works to make sure that their staff is working well, to teach residents the curriculum through conversation, community events, and their bulletin boards so that the residents are receiving it, because it allows them to work well also, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom.
Wow, what an interesting metaphor. So these different stages apply to different areas.
Yes.
Now, which area do you prefer, if you don't mind me asking?
I want to welcome the challenge of upper class suites and apartments. I feel like I related to the first year students so well because it was my first year on campus, and I feel I would most likely be able to relate to the upper class students as well because I've also experienced a year at Stevenson. The residential stages are all about forming deeper connections into their community, not just the floor, but with faculty and staff. So it also includes them holding themselves accountable now that they know the rules about living here, and ultimately about finding their place in the community and a sense of purpose here at Stevenson and truly making this place their own.
Wow, you know, that's so in-depth. You don't go that in-depth in the song.
Yeah, well, the song is meant to be more catchy.
Super catchy, but, you know, some critics have said that it's a little corny.
Well, I think corny is kind of a good thing. It's like another way to say I'm putting forth effort and I'm not afraid to look uncool.
See, that's what sets you apart. Just how passionate you are, wouldn't you say?
So I would say that what sets me apart is that while I am a paperwork type of person, as in I get work done when I get the work, I also like to have fun, and I think that people forget that you can accomplish both at the same time. Like, my goal in making this video is to convey that I want to be an SRA, and I did it in a means that was fun, that was passionate, and something that I enjoy doing and I enjoy sharing with other people and people enjoy viewing. What makes me unique is that I can be passionate about these things, these multiple different parts of my personality. Music, songwriting, making video, being an RA, talking and having fun with residents, and incorporate it all into something to convey that message. I can make work fun, and that can vary from musical numbers to just stimulating conversations. I'm a strict believer that residence life is not all work and no play, because clearly there is some play in there being a huge chunk of the job about building relationships.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. So, to my understanding, an SRA leads a team, is that correct?
Yes, their staffs consist of the other RAs.
So, do they always get along, or?
I can tell you from experience, no.
Oh really? Well, what do you do in that situation?
So I'll address it and make the necessary adjustments needed to make the situation livable with all the parties involved. My plan is to make sure that my staff is cohesive by making sure that everybody is adhering to their personal strengths as well as paying attention to their weaknesses. So in order to work in unity, I feel like we need to understand one another in terms of what we excel at and what we struggle with so that we can grow. I'll establish right away in training that any feedback given is given solely for the purpose of improving the job. No gossip, no complaint ignored, everything that needs to be addressed will be addressed before it grows from a complaint into an issue, because I feel like that's where the majority of these conflicts within our staffs, between co's or just 2RAs in general, occur. I plan to establish a trust within my team through exercises like love languages or just days spent together bonding during or after training.
So I can tell, and your fans can tell, that you're clearly a people person. So, let's get down to brass tacks. Why do you want to be an SRA?
So basically, the framework is that A, I'm pursuing a job in communications because my major is business communication. So what better way to practice for a job in communicating with people than being in a job that involves communicating with people? B, I'm planning on going to grad school and pursuing a job as an RD, so I'll actually be utilizing this role very much in my future, not just in my actual job, but possibly as my actual job. So finally, I feel like because I can contribute. I enjoy giving presentations, speaking in front of crowds, having those tough conversations and listening. I could be the president of 50 clubs, do sports, manage 2 jobs, and look fantastic on a resume, but if I can't contribute the time and effort and I'm not suited for the job, then I wouldn't apply. I have the time, I have the effort, and I have experiences outside of just being an RA to help guide me. I've conducted mediations between friends, even family members, and that's how I knew that I wanted to apply to be an RA. Compassion, integrity, and empathy are all things that you can't really train, and I have all 3. I want to contribute to the Stevenson community and be representative of a voice for both residents and residents' life. It's something I've always wanted to do, and part of the reason why I became an RA in the first place. And whether I receive the position or not, I plan on doing everything I mentioned regardless. I want to listen, I want to help others, but I want to make a big impact. And I feel like having a bigger platform makes that impact, and it helps to give me the influence I need to do what I want to do, what I like to do, and help other people.
I tell you, we're all rooting for you, kiddo. We wish you the best of luck. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for SU After Dark with Anthony Flagg. We'll catch you next time.
I wanna be an SRA. Hey, hey, think of a better way to better describe.